What's going on, guys? I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about my truck and how I've set it up for overland use. So here it goes. This is it. This is my 2019 Ranger. It is a XL model that I ordered to my specifications. It's basically base model XL. I added the factory e-locker, the basic like tech package, which just has like power locks and power mirrors and that really basic stuff. And the only other thing I added was the Copilot 360 system. Kind of the whole point in getting this truck was to not need to do a lot of different modifications to it. I wanted to keep it as stock as possible and not have to spend a bunch of money. So that's kind of been my approach with this whole thing. Let's go check it out. All right, so starting at the front. So these tires are Cooper ST Max. They're 235/85/16. They are literally the exact same tire that I had on my Trooper. I've been just super happy with these tires. They've got probably maybe about 25,000 miles on them now, combined between the two vehicles. And they've got a ton of tread left on them. Bro, you're in my shot. Come on, come over here, come on, good boy. So, yeah, they've got a ton of tread left on them. I have never gotten a flat. And then, like I said, I've got the factory 16-inch steel wheels from the base model. One of the reasons I didn't want to upgrade the model is because I didn't want aluminum wheels and I didn't want 17s. There's a lot more tire options for 17s, so that is definitely an advantage, but I've beat these wheels up. I don't know if you can tell, but there's scratches all over a lot of them. You know, they're heavy and not the prettiest things in the world, but they take abuse. And the 16-inch, I like the bigger sidewall. You know, even the 32s has a really nice meaty sidewall that I can air down. So that's just a preference of mine. The only other thing I've done on the front is I upgraded the shocks or struts. I don't know what they technically are on this. I went with the Eibach Pro Lift. I think that's what they call them. It's just basically an Eibach replacement shock that has different settings for the spring perch adjustment. They're a little bit longer than stock, so they give you a little extra suspension travel, which is great. And then I've got about a 2¼ inch, I think they call it, lift out of them, just by raising or changing where that spring perch sits on the shock. I'll probably be getting the rear soon, but I still have the factory shocks in the back for now. At the back here, I haven't really done anything except I added some, oh, I totally forgot what they're called. Extended shackles, that's what they are. So I've added in the back here the extended leaf spring shackles from I think they're from BDS. Yeah, they're from BDS. So basically, they're designed to lift the truck about, I think, like an inch or so. And they also increase the travel, which is why I went with them over just like a simple block. I don't really like blocks. So yeah, the shackle increases the height, but it's actually, I've got so much weight added in the back of this thing that all it's really doing is just restoring it to stock height. Sometime in the future, I will probably be either upgrading the leaf pack or adding in a add-a-leaf system. I think there's one available for this now. But the extended shackle's actually been really great for now. So it definitely increased the travel a little bit, and it's definitely helped to kind of restore the ride after I've added so much weight. The shocks or the springs aren't just bottoming out on the bump stops so quickly as they were before. So the rock sliders I went with are the Shrockworks. They've been great. They're simple bolt-on. I think there was one hole that I had to drill, but otherwise they're great. They're super beefy. I've put these things through a lot of abuse already, and they've definitely saved my truck. So well worth the investment. I have heard some people complaining about those that went with. They have an option to put a diamond plate or a dimple plate on the top to make these more of like a step. I have heard of some people complaining that with those models they do hit the body. So there's that to be aware of. But the ones without, I didn't choose that because I didn't want a bunch of snow and crap to collect on top of them, which I would then track into the car. So they're just open so anything can fall through. They've been great. Been super happy with them. So one other thing on the front, I did add a winch. So this is a hidden winch mount that 589 Fab makes. It's been great. It was a little fiddly to install. I had to kind of get everything in place before I tightened anything up. It was a little difficult to line some things up, but that's kind of to be expected with anything, any kind of fabricated part. It's all gonna end up, being, a 1/16 inch off here and there when you bolt everything together. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's been great. I added a black fair lead and a black, whatever this thing's called. So it's super hidden. You would never know that there's a winch on this truck from the outside, and that's kind of what I wanted. I also added some little LED fog lights up here. I have some amber plates on them. I think they're really ugly, so the amber plates kind of hide these lights a little bit, and also I think the amber is nice in the snow and fog compared to white. So I run them like this normally, and then I can just take the amber off if I need a little extra brightness at night. So back here, I also have some overhead storage. This is actually a cot organizer, technically. It's designed to hang from the side of your cot so you can store things, but it's actually the perfect width to go across the top of the truck. I just utilize the screws for the oh shit handles, and it just stretches across the top here. I can above it I can fit some super lightweight stuff like a rain jacket. Just kind of tucks overhead. This is all just the light stuff that you never know when you might need it, and it's always nice to have easy access to it. It's actually high enough up that you can still sit back here. It's a little odd to have some stuff hanging in front of your face, but you can still do it. So, but behind here, so first of all, I have a high lift jack. I have an emergency shovel. I have a tool roll down here, along with the factory spare tire jack. Another bag of tools here, which has a lot in it, and a fire extinguisher. I can actually get this fire extinguisher out without having to pull the seat down. I also usually have a big poofy warm jacket that squishes in this little area here. And then I used to keep an air compressor in here too, but I decided to move that to the back because it's easier to use frequently. So this is all kind of the stuff that I hope I don't ever have to use. It's not the easiest space to access. It's good space to put stuff that you don't need very often. So probably the most obvious visual change I've made to this truck is the back here. So I first went with the soft topper, then I put a rack. I made this rack from scratch. It's basically 1.5-inch roll bar tubing that it clamps underneath. Is the same clamps as the soft topper uses. And then I just have a custom-made aluminum rack on top. I was trying to keep everything as lightweight as possible and as versatile as possible. Everything on this truck is an experiment right now. I'm kind of playing with everything to get the best setup possible. I'm not super happy with the way I've got it set up. The products, I think the components that I have are great, but just trying to get everything working together right, I still have a lot of work to do. So, but otherwise, the soft topper is really cool. Actually, it's a great option for being able to enclose gear and keep everything out of the wet, but also still being able to use your truck as a truck. I can take off the rack and the bar and open the top to have an open truck bed in probably about 5 minutes. So probably the most time-consuming part of getting this truck set up so far has been building the back. You can probably tell I've got a lot built in here right now. This is all kind of experimental prototype stuff. I'm pretty happy with it for the most part, but there's definitely some changes I want to make. So I'll probably be changing a lot of this. But for now, I'll show you kind of what I've done. The most basic part on the left side, I've got a drawer. It's all plywood that I have on some, I think they're suitcase wheels, so it rolls in and out fairly easily. I've got a ton of weight in there right now. On the left side, I've got some electrical stuff. I've got a charge controller, some USB switches, and a 12-volt outlet. That's all connected to a dual battery system, which is up front. This is my kitchen cabinet, drawer, shelf thing. I don't know what to call it. But the lower part is a pantry. It's accessible from the outside with this door. So you can, I wanted this kind of so I could go to the grocery store on a trip and be able to throw stuff in here and get quick to access stuff out without having to pull everything out. So that's there, and then the whole thing pulls out. So I've got a fridge up here. You might be thinking, oh, it's pointed backwards, but it's not. I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, let's get to this. All right, so this is my kitchen. This is the main access for the pantry. It's the same area that the front door opens to. It's a complete mess right now because I've been super lazy and just throwing everything in. So that's there. Top opens up. I've got a bunch of storage up here, and then folds open so I have a cutting board over here so I can prepare food. Obviously, that's what a cutting board is for, right? And then up here is a grill. It's basically designed to be a dual-purpose surface for a stove and also drying dishes. So I'll throw a towel over this and dry dishes on it if I have a bunch of dishes. Or I can take a gas can and a stove. It's a mess, like I said. And I can put this through here, and I can have a nice little 2-burner cook stove there. Or I can just set a stove on top of it or whatever. It works pretty well. I'm probably going to be changing this up a lot. I've got some other ideas as well. Trying to basically get everything as streamlined as possible, and just make it so there's as little setup and tear down as possible. So, the fridge, it's backwards, right? If this is my kitchen here, it opens this way, the wrong way. But it's not the wrong way because my idea is that if you're cooking, you can just get everything out and take it over to the other side for cooking. Up here, since the fridge opens to this side, I can actually pop open my soft topper. Ow. I swear I can do this. It's a lot easier when I'm not holding a camera. I can pop open the soft topper and I can actually open the fridge from here and grab stuff out while I'm on the move without having to pull out the whole system. So that's why the fridge opens on this side. We're now inside the back of the truck, and the reason we're in here is because I wanted to show you this little area over here. It is very undeveloped at the moment, but it's a very handy little crevice here. Just, you know, I like to take advantage of every little space possible, and this is a big space. First of all, I have some cables coiled up for my solar panel that I will be putting on the roof. This is actually my camp toilet / shower setup. It's a little pop open shower canopy, and I also have thrown in this bag. Yeah, this is the camp toilet. It's just basically a seat with a little ring to put a bag in it. And you know, I recently bought this as kind of a backup for in case I end up in an area where there's not an area to go, without getting into too many details. But I think this is kind of a really important item to have, just in case. The other thing I have over here is a propane tank. It's strapped in right now, and I have a big long hose for this that I can run out to the stove. And yes, before you say something, these are covers for sprinkler systems, and they work awesome for this. I can put a ton of weight on these, and they're just really easy to get in and out. And then in here, I've got two 35 amp hour auxiliary batteries, a little fuse box, a solar charge controller, and then the Renogy 20 amp DC to DC battery charger. If you don't know, on Rangers and I think many of the newer vehicles that have smart variable output alternators, you can't use the traditional voltage switch to charge your auxiliary batteries because it's not always running at a high enough voltage to charge them. So using something like this DC to DC charger is necessary if you want your batteries to be regularly topped off. And yeah, I don't have a lot of power. It's only, you know, it's 70 amp hours total, which with AGM batteries, it makes it only 35 amp hours of usable, essentially. I've never had any issues. You know, I'm not the kind of person that that sits in one spot at camp for a really long time. But even so, on, you know, the hottest nights I've camped in Colorado, the lowest I've seen my battery in the morning after the fridge running all night, and even after using like my rice maker, and just, you know, using as much power as I could want to, like not really even thinking about trying to conserve it. I've never seen the batteries below 70%. And that's without even having a solar panel or anything hooked up. So it's plenty. I don't see any reason at this point to go more. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but for now, the 70 amp hours of AGM power has been just fine. that's it for the back of the truck. So, this is the back of my truck. Jesus. There we go. Okay. So this is the back of the truck, how I've got it set up. Like I said, it's kind of all experimental right now. It works pretty well, but I definitely want to change some stuff. I need a better sleeping setup. If you've been paying attention to my channel, you might have seen that I've been using a tent before, and the tent is actually great. I have a really awesome Kodiak canvas, like spring bar style tent. It's super heavy duty, but it's, especially in the winter, I think it's a real pain to set up a big tent for a single night. The winter makes everything really stiff and cold and hard to roll up. So I decided this time, since it's January, I don't know what date it is, the 12th or something, this seemed like the perfect time to try sleeping in the back. So that's why I did this. Never again though. So anyway, that's the setup. Hopefully that answers most of the questions that everyone's been asking. I will continue to update this as I change things, which I'll probably do a little bit more over the summer. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep using it and keep trying stuff. I'm one of those people that's never happy with anything that I've done. So I'm always trying to improve everything and make it work better. So it's a never-ending project. Everything is a never-ending project for me. But anyway, if y'all have any more questions or any other details that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments, and I will try and get those to you.